به نام یزدان. موضوعی که من میخوام دربارش صحبت کنم یک واژه‌ای هست که در متن درخت آسوریگ اومده. درخت آسوریگ یک متنی هست که به خط و زبان فارسی میانه الان برای ما موجوده، اما اولین بار آقای بارتولومه تشخیص داد که این متن اصالتش پارتی هست، یعنی پهلوی اشکانی بوده. بعداً در دوره‌های بعدی که به دست فارسی میانه زبانان رسیده، این متن دگرگونی‌های زبانی پیدا کرده و به فارسی میانه تبدیل شده. اما شواهد پارتی اون هنوز انقدر هست که قابل تشخیص باشه و نشون میده که بارتولومه درست حد زده. بنویس اولین کسی بود که تشخیص داد این درخت آسوریگ به شعر بوده، یعنی به احتمال زیاد این رو گوسانان به صورت شعر و با موسیقی نقل میکردن و بعد به دوره بعدی رسیده. حالا متاسفانه فونت‌های پهلوی رو نخونده، بالا فونت پهلوی بود که سیستم نمی‌خونه. حالا من آبانویسیش رو نوشتم. سوال اصلی ما رو بند 13 هست، جایی که ما می‌خوایم یک واژه رو بررسی کنیم. مخ از من کرند که تو، بعد اون واژه هست کوژند، اون واژه که زیرش خط کشیدم. آقا نویسیش سه که حرف نویسیش سه که او این و خوندنش سرکن، یعنی میخ رو از من میسازند که تو را جا خالی بیامیزند. این رو 11 نظر دربارش هست. هر کسی که این واژه رو خونده تو این 11 نفر نتونسته اصل واژه و اشتقاق واژه رو تشخیص درست بده، بنا به سلیقه خودش اون رو تصحیح کرده. مثلا اون والایی رو سراکون خونده و بعد گفته اون آکون مال آکستن هست و معنای آویختن. تصحیح‌های مختلف هست، ولی الان نظری که خیلی روش بحث میکنم و قابل قبول منصور شکی شماره 8 هست که میگه این یک شکل متفاوتی از واژه، یعنی مخدوشی از واژه سرنگون بوده، نهش افتاده. کسایی که خط پهلوی بدونن میدونن که اون نه میتونه اونجا وارد شباهت افتاده باشه. سرنگون هست و به اون شکل سرکون نوشته شده، اون مخدوش هست. این واژه درسته. رحمان اشعر مانند شکی همین کارو کرده. یه نظرم مال آقای نوابی هست. نوابی میگه سرکون در از اون سرش اصل واژه است، ولی کونش مال واژه کوژند بوده که کسی که میخواسته اون رو بنویسه اشتباه نوشته و فقط واژه سر رو درست میدونه، بقیه‌اش رو میندازه کنار. حالا یکی هم مال آقای مکیوس زاک هست که میگه اینا چون احتمالاً داره درباره اعضای بدن بز صحبت میکنه، سر یه بخشیه و کون یه بخش دیگه است. این 11 تا نظر نشون میده که هیچ کدوم اصل واژه رو نشناختن، تصحیح کردن. منتها از روی سیاق جمله حدس زدن که این واژه معنی سرنگون و واژگون رو میده. شواهد ما نشون میده که در 3 تا زبان شمال غربی این واژه وجود داره. یکی توی تالشی هست، در گونه آریانی و ماسالی به صورت سرکونه و در اسالیمی سرکونه. این از 2 جزء ساخته شده. توجه شما رو به اون جزء میانی میدم، سر کونه. این بخش اولش همون سره، بخش دومش کونه. منتها سر به معنای آغاز، نه اعضای بدن بز. آغاز اون کونه هم تهه، معنیش سر و تهه. دقیقاً معنی معادل فارسیش میشه سر و ته و هیچ اشتباهی در نوشتن پهلویش رخ نداده. اونایی که فکر میکردن این سرنگونه برای اینه که این واژه رو اصلا نمیشناختن. شاهد بعدی تو خلخالی هم میتونیم ببینیم، اونجا هم سرکونه هست، دقیقاً با معنی سر و ته. در شاهد سوم از گویش دماوندی، اونجا سراکونا دوباره سر و ته و برعکس. همه‌شون هم یک جزء میانی بین سر و کونا دارن. اونو توجه میدم تا دربارش صحبت کنم. یعنی اینجا آ تو دو تا شاهد قبلی
To introduce you my presentation and speech, the domestic political discourse on the formation of Talysh province in Iran during the reign of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Since my speech is in English, I'm going to present you my presentation in Russian. Здравствуйте, дорогие гости и участники конференции. Я рада представить вам свой доклад о внутриполитическом дискурсе о создании провинции Талыш в Исламской Республике Иран в годы правления президента Махмуда Ахмадинежада. Так как мой доклад на английском, я приготовила презентацию на русском, которая является почти дословным переводом доклада. So let's start. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's victory marked the beginning of a new era in Iranian domestic politics during 2005 presidential elections. The emergence of a relatively young and inexperienced president in the presidential elections was also welcomed by ethnic groups who expected more positive changes in their social-political life. Many think that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad would have had great opportunities for changes as he enjoyed the support of spiritual leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. It was during this period that the Talysh population of the country embarked on the realization of its long-standing dream, that is the idea to formate a Talysh province. The purpose of this speech is to present the historical background of the project, its implementation potential, advantages and disadvantages, as well as the reasons for being halfway. The Talysh have lived in the southwest of the Caspian Sea for thousands of years. Scientists consider Talysh as the indigenous population of the region and agree that the territory of their settlement in antiquity was more extensive. The territory inhabited by the Talyshis in antiquity was part of the Media and later Azerbaijan. In the 15th century, the Armenian edition of the Roman about Alexander the Great, written in the 5th century, first mentioned Talysh, and he said that he was a refugee from the Caspian Gate near the country of Talysh or Talis in the region of Gilan. Talysh also appears in the works of At-Tabari, Balazuri, and other early Arab authors like Al-Talyshstan, and in the works of Persian historians as Talyshstan and Tavalesh. In 1747, the Talysh, led by Sayyid Abbas, created their own national state, the Talysh Khanate. So it's not surprising that, taking into account the historical past, the Talysh later come up with a plan to create a Talysh province in Iran. Today, the Talysh live in the northwestern parts of Iran, particularly the western Gilan province, in Astara, Talesh, Masal, Rezvanshahar, Fumansara, Shafat cities. A large number of Talyshis also live in Ardebil province. The name of the country as a separate administrative political district called Talysh or Velayat-e Talysh is found in the testimonies of Rashid al-Din Fazullah, dating back to the 13th century. The other part of the Talysh resides in the Azerbaijan Republic. For comparison, it should be noted that the Talysh in Iran are not politically and socially persecuted. The state respects their culture and language, which cannot be said about the Talysh who live in the Azerbaijan Republic, who are deprived from elementary law of communication and education in their native language, along with social, political, and cultural pressures. That in 2005, after the presidential elections, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad took over as a president, criticizing the former authorities and seeking to strengthen ties between the capital and the district by providing equal living conditions for all citizens of the country. There began discussions on the creation of a Talysh province among the country's Talysh community. As a practical step, the issue of establishing a Talysh province was raised in parliament by Nasser Ashuri, who was the deputy of Fuman in parliament during 2004 and 2008. Nasser Ashuri's proposal was to set up a commission to work out a plan for the creation of the Talyshstan province, taking into account economic, cultural, and political opportunities. In addition, it was envisaged that the state should consist of 49 cities and have 13 deputies in the parliament. Proponents of the program argued that the state's primary need was that, given the example of the Talyshs living in Azerbaijan, they were concerned about the abolition of Talyshs' self-consciousness as part of Iranian culture. In addition, being part of the Gilan province, the Talysh were deprived of the ability to pursue independent economic policies, and the newly created Talysh province would contribute to the development of Talysh-habited areas, new infrastructure, the development of hotels and recreation areas, as well as the progress of tourism. We should not forget about the geopolitical importance of the Talysh province, since geopolitically, the Talysh areas are divided into two, Iranian and Azerbaijani, or northern and southern Talysh. The Talysh language extends from Fuman to the southern part of Baku, and after the independence of the Republic of Azerbaijan, a planned anti-Talysh policy and geopolitical struggle for the elimination of the Talysh and Talysh language have been carried out in Talysh populated areas. In the context of above mentioned, the creation of the Talysh province would be an opposite response to the planned anti-Iranian and pantheistic activities carried out by the Republic of Azerbaijan. Opportunities for the creation of the Talysh province were also of concern in Azerbaijan, as official Baku was not ready to take similar steps with regard to the Talysh living in their own country, and feared their activation in connection with possible administrative reforms in Iran. In the context of Iranian-Azerbaijani relations, a Talysh scandal took place in 2007 when the authorities of the Republic of Azerbaijan arrested Talysh linguist, editor of the newspaper Tolshi Sado, translated as Voice of Talysh, Novruzali Mamedov. He was charged with spying for Iran and died in Azerbaijani prison in 2007. To summarize, let us try to point out the main factors that favored the shapement of the Talysh province. First of all, the country's socio-economic situation has worsened since Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's third year in office. The confrontation with the West over the nuclear program intensified. New sanctions were imposed by the United Nations Security Council. Erupted protests after the presidential elections of 2009 and emerged disagreements in Iranian ruling elite. Taking into account the above mentioned, it turns out that there were a number of circumstances in that period that were blocking any administrative change within the country. Moreover, the creation of the Talysh province would bring a new reality to the region, setting a precedent for the activation of ethnic groups both inside and outside of Iran. Thank you.